So, welcome back, guys, to No Ordinary Woman Chat Show. I'm Janelle Rayburn.
I'm Kaz Mack.
And we have missed you guys. We hope you have missed us too. In fact, we're sure you've missed us.
They definitely missed us, Janelle. I know they missed us because we missed us being out there, yeah? So you must have missed us. Okay.
So listen, what better way for us to come back with a brand new series, a brand new episode than for International Women's Month. We caught up with some amazing, amazing women for this month, and we are really excited to bring their stories to you.
So in order for you guys to be able to find out about these phenomenal, no ordinary women, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get to watch their full episode in its full entirety. So make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Subscribe below, guys, if you haven't done already. Now listen, we are really excited to bring you these amazing women, so stay tuned, grab a cup of tea,
and we'll see you on the other side.
We'll be back right after this.
Guys, we are super excited to bring to you Jenny Campbell, who is the founder of Guava Kitchen down there in South East of London. Now, Jenny is just an amazing woman, but we're going to allow her to share a bit more light about her business, how she got started to inspire you.
Jenny, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I've been admiring your show for many, many years.
Aww.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I feel very excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. So Jenny, you started a business recently, a restaurant actually called Guava Kitchen, a vegan restaurant. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so basically, first of all, I have to say to your viewers that although we do vegan food, predominantly it is actually plant-based. So we do both vegan and vegetarian.
Oh.
And what that means is that we also sell a small amount of dairy. But we do make it, I'm quite adamant that we do more vegan options than vegetarian options. And we do try to steer more in that way.
So there's so many labels. So you said vegan, you said vegetarian. Like, I think I know what it is. You know what it is as well. But just for those...
think I know what
All
it
right.
is.
So
I don't know what it is.
What's the difference?
Yeah, what is the difference?
The main difference is obviously both vegan and vegetarian diets don't eat animal protein. Right. So that's one of the biggest differences. But the main difference between vegetarian and veganism is that you don't also have dairy. So no dairy products either. So, even going as far as obviously cheese, milk, all that, if you're a vegan, you wouldn't. But also, not only that, if you are a very strong vegan, you wouldn't even have anything that is animal related in your home, in terms of your furnishings, even your clothing, anything. So it is something that, everyone goes down that path for a different reason. So it really depends on your own personal journey. Vegetarians are a little bit less strict because they have dairy. So they'll have eggs and they'll have milk and so forth. And generally speaking, a lot of vegetarians sometimes as well may even have a bit of fish. Right. But generally speaking, they don't. They will have no animal protein at all.
So how did you decide to create a business, a restaurant for vegetarians and vegans? What inspired you to do that? Are you a vegan yourself, first of all?
I'm a vegan myself. I've been a vegan now for about 6 years. It was a gradual process. If someone had said to me 10 years ago that you're going to become vegan, I would have told them that that's absolutely impossible because I used to love my meat, right? But it was a journey that I started, well over 6 years ago actually, because like I said, it was a gradual process. I went to Jamaica and I just had 3 weeks there where I just had a time where I just wanted to detox my body. I was going through some illnesses at the time. And I just decided to, because I was visiting lots of different practitioners and they weren't helping, So I decided to kind of take on my own self-healing. And I just decided to cut out, at the time I used to have meat, and I decided just to go with fish and vegetables. And I did that for the whole 3 weeks I was in Jamaica, and I just felt amazing. I mean, it was just like, not only did I detox, it's like everything that was within me just purified, And obviously I was in a beautiful place, a beautiful island as well. So
Jamaica's definitely that.
so that helped. But, I came back, just even when my husband met me at the airport, he said, you just look radiant, in terms of, it's just literally like I had just gone on a detox holiday. So that was the first time I came into contact with actually, changing my diet. And I thought, there might be something in this, And then I kind of started to explore the whole vegetarian. At the time, it was I was still having fish. So I just started to explore the whole vegetarian aspect, and I just became totally obsessed with it. I just started to read lots of health books. I started to see how you could actually, you could self-medicate. You could actually get yourself back to health, just through food. And I'd never actually knew that. I'd never actually experienced that in my life. So it was a journey that kind of gradually happened. And then from there, I said something the other day. I was saying to someone that I'd never really had a direction in life. I worked in banking, and I did it for stability. I knew that it wasn't what I wanted to do. But then, in life, you're kind of searching all the time, to say, what's your calling?
Yeah.
And when I became quite passionate about this, I started to really love finding out more about it. And I felt like this was my calling. I started to feel. So when I actually got, my job got made redundant from banking.
I love what you just said. I love what you just said. Sorry, I had to interject there. That my job got made redundant.
Oh yes, I didn't get made redundant.
And I have to say it because it's very rare that you hear anybody saying that. Because we always say, I got made redundant.
Right.
So, sorry.
Yeah.
I just love that. I had to interject. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my job got made redundant. And when my job got made redundant, it happened after, this was about the third time actually. And obviously as you become more mature, you start to realise that there is more to life.
Yeah.
Than, it's not for everyone, but I started to feel like there might be something there that I can do for myself, something that I actually want to do. And I decided at that point to then look into other areas of like maybe starting up some kind of food retail business. And also, at the time, I used to do events as well. So I was already I used to do that on the side.
Was that, I was going to say, was that on the side?
Yeah.
When I was sidelining.
Yeah, my little sideline thing. My little hustling. So when I used to do that on the side, hospitality was always something that I enjoyed. And I decided that, maybe I need to take this one step further. So that's kind of how things started to develop. And then I decided, well, it's so funny actually, because when my job got made redundant, my manager at the time, who actually is now a good friend of mine, when they told me, I went home because they give you, that kind of talk, the HR talk.
Yeah.
And then, they give you all these things to think about overnight, and you go back and they say, we can offer you this and whatever. And the next day when I came back, my manager said, she'd never, of all the times when, she's been going through making redundancies and so forth, someone's never come back with that look of excitement.
Wow.
In their whole demeanour. And, she said, I came back with such a positiveness.
Wow.
And I sat in that meeting with her and the HR lady. And they said to me, obviously, have you thought about it? And I said, yeah, I know exactly what I want to do. And it's not this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good for
And,
you.
and that's where my journey really began.
Wow.
So would you say that moment was kind of like the light bulb moment then, clarity? Whereas for most people it would be, oh my God,
how am I going to pay the mortgage?
Yeah.
How am I going to do this? And,
Yeah.
I think what's amazing about your story so far, what you're sharing, is that you knew that there was more to life than what you're actually going through.
Absolutely.
And even though you said, you know, you was doing your side hustle in terms of doing your events, doing your hospitality, but when you think about Guava Kitchen, that is what you're doing. You're serving people.
Yeah,
that is,
that's
you know,
right.
you literally went through preparation
Absolutely.
for where you are currently.
Absolutely, absolutely. Although I did not see the Guava Kitchen, my vision wasn't. And I think that's what, I mean, I've spoken to you about this, Kaz, about your expectations.
Yeah.
You know, my expectation was never it was never the Guava Kitchen. I knew that I wanted to do something, but I knew that I wanted to bring the whole cultural aspects of food to the table. But I didn't see the vision as being the Guava Kitchen.
Yeah.
I just, you know, I mean, I basically, after that day when I spoke to my manager and my job got made redundant, and obviously when you get made redundant, you obviously got some money. Obviously, I was older, so I'd been through the whole kind of, you know, growing up the children. I got to the stage now. I mean, I was nowhere near retirement, believe me. I had to still go and work. But I was a little bit less stressed, you know, than that stage in life where you feel, I've got to get back and get a job quick, you know what I mean? Because I've got children to feed, I've got the mortgage to pay and so forth. And fortunately, I went back and I thought, well, how can I get this started? And I started looking into doing a stall. So I did a stall in Brick Lane.
Oh.
Yeah. And I wanted to kind of test it because at that time I was kind of looking at all kinds of recipes. I was, you know, starting to follow various chefs online, plant-based chefs online. And I just wanted to kind of see if this was something that really could sell in the market. So I got in my kitchen, you know, and I started doing little recipes, you know, and I used all the classical recipes from that I grew up with, you know. So
give us an example.
So, like for instance, like we used a curry goat, you know. So I started to do a rundown, a curry rundown, but made it plant-based.
Right.
Because the thing is, what I found was when I became plant-based, I used to go out, I couldn't find anything that really satisfied my palate.
And I think that's why I would have struggled to go on plant-based myself, because I call myself an oxitarian.
Yeah.
Just in case anybody wants to know what that means. That just means somebody that just love to eat oxtail, and I still don't eat anything else. But anyway.
I've not heard of that before.
Yeah, it's a made up.
It's unique to
It's unique to me.
It's unique to
I love oxtail. And, you know, when I decided I'm not going to eat chicken and everything else, it was just like, I know I'm not supposed to eat oxtail because I had a fibroids issue.
Did you decide you weren't going to eat chicken, or you just didn't like it?
No, it was more because of the fibroids issues that I was having.
Right.
So that's the reason why it was like, okay, I have to stop doing this, you know, and I must, you know, I will confess I have been eating chicken again because I went to Jamaica and...
She mashed down some jerk, me tell you.
But yeah, I did. But yeah, going back to you, Jenny. But that's one of the reasons why I would have struggled to become plant-based, because I love those flavours. And, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So does your curries and everything bring out that same flavours?
Absolutely. And that's why, I mean, most people in the Caribbean community, they've heard of Ital food.
Yes.
Right? And the Rastafarian, which is obviously originates from the Rastafarian religion. And the thing is that a lot of us didn't really understand that, like, Ital food is actually, a lot of it is vegan, you know? And I used to remember when I used to go to Jamaica, and, you know, when I used to come into contact with a lot of Rastafarians, they could cook.
Banging. But they were going to lie. Banging.
They could cook. And you know, when they used to cook food, you didn't used to miss anything. You know, be it fish, be it just plant-based. It was just the fact they used to bring out the real garnishing, the real, you know, seasoning and everything. And, you know, I decided that, as they always say, you know, if you find that you can't find something, a product that if you go and, I mean, I've always had big feet, right? Oh, no, one time in my life.
Me and you both. Me and you both.
Well, I'm not involved in this one.
And I used to always think, you know what, I'm going to have to start my own shoe range because I used to see some beautiful, beautiful shoes and I could not get my size, you know. And, you know, so they always say if there's something that you want to find and you can't find it, that's always the first start of a business idea.
Well, there's a gap. There's a gap
in this age. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's beautiful because when you actually go down that route, it's coming from this passion that not only is something that you want, but if you want it, bet your bottom dollar other people are going to want it.
Exactly.
I mean, Cass mentioned about, you mentioned about your fibroids, and that's something that a lot of women out there suffer from.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I am fully vegan, but I certainly limit my meat intake. And that has come from, similar to you, health issues, and it's come from gynae issues. So I suffer from endometriosis, which is an awful debilitating condition. Yeah, I know. And having cut out meat, cut out sugar, cut out dairy, I tell you something, it's such a difference. I still suffer, but nothing like compared to where I used to be. So, and I guess I'm not an oxitarian, if I'm honest, guys, I'm going to be really honest. My favourite meat, or the favourite meat taste for me, was pork, right? I know that's going to raise some eyebrows out there, but I'm just being real. Pork tastes good for me. So that was the only meat that I had a kind of a palate attachment to. All the other meats I could let go. Right now, I would say that for the most part, I try, if I can, not to eat any meat. Well, I don't eat meat. So not to have fish in my diet, but I don't limit it. So if I fancy it, then I have fish. I had fish last night, for example. But definitely what you say, it comes from understanding within yourself what the problem is. And then, you've actually created a business from it.
Well, yeah, because like I said, I found that at the time, because of health issues, I wanted to cut out. Mine was dairy. I needed to cut out dairy. It wasn't essential, but I felt that every time that I had dairy, it did cause problems to my health. And so I just decided to go down the plant-based. And when I used to go around, I couldn't find anything that was tasty. Not that was tasty for my palate. I mean, obviously, there are plant-based foods out there that are very tasty. But when you grow up in a Caribbean home, and you're used to, like you said, the oxtail, and you're used to the jerk chickens, and there's not a lot out there that can really compare to that. So I decided then, like I said, I started to do the curries. I did things with plantain, basically, I just decided to experiment with all these. And then I started to find some wonderful fruit and veg that we have that people don't really talk about, and juices were amazing, like soul juice, and Irish moss.
You don't make me hungry, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just visualizing. I'm listening to you, but I'm visualizing the food and the drink and everything. I'm just I'm hungry. I'm just keeping it real.
I'm telling you, there's so much that we have, in the Caribbean, that we don't expose enough, and we don't bring to the table. And there's lots that we can get here. That's we can still, I mean. Breadfruit was always a favourite of mine. I love breadfruit. When you roast it.
Cheese. That's what I'm saying.
When it's just that perfect right, mate.
Exactly. When it's just that perfect.
I just hope my belly don't rumble.
My aunt used to have a breadfruit, basically loads of breadfruit trees in her garden in Maypen in Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
And when I used to go to Jamaica, right, I mean, this is a lady that was nearly 70 and she used to climb the breadfruit tree, right, and drop them down on the ground. And we used to sit there at night and roast breadfruit. And, and I remember those days, So for me, when I decided to start going off on my experimental journey, all those things, I just started to resurrect and, and it was beautiful because I just started to find things that I grew up on, that I could, And like I said, coming back to when I had the stall, so I decided to kind of start building different things, making different things for the stall. And I was really surprised at the shock. I was shocked at the surprise that I was getting. And people were kind of coming and loving the food. And I am not a chef. And I don't say that, I'm not a qualified chef at all. But people were coming, and the way the response I was getting, I was really, really surprised. And I kind of used that as a marketing to start the Guava Kitchen.
Yeah.
And that's when it all started. That's when it all started to kick off.
Okay, so I'm going to be a bit controversial now because we've mentioned a few labels. Kaz is oxitarian.
Yeah.
I would probably say I'm pescatarian.
Yeah.
There is vegetarian. There's veganism. There's this thing called flexitarian that I
Exactly.
discovered the other day.
What's flexitarian?
So it means
they swap and change.
Yeah,
so you if you eat meat, but sometimes you'll go on to a plant-based diet, and then the other time you'll just you go back to your meat. So you're swapping. You're kind of flexing.
You can't make up your mind, basically.
Okay.
Like you try it for a little bit, but then you might miss your meat, and so you go back to it. But what I want to say is so all of these labels, and in particular veganism, some people have said it's just the latest fad, it's the latest craze, it's going to pass, all these millennials are vegan. And, what do you say about that?
I say that I feel that the way things are going, and futuristically, I feel that people are going to become more and more plant-based.
Yeah.
And I feel the reason for that is because people are now can see the benefits, I think people care more now about their health and about self-medicating and just about themselves, I think they realise now that popping pills is not the answer, I think, in the days of my mother and father, it was run to the doctor, get something for your blood pressure, get something for your arthritis. I think people now realise prevention is better than cure, and, the more that you can find things, food is a great way to remedy, your illnesses, even depression. You can, there are foods that you can find, to help you. I mean, bananas are meant to be very good.
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to depression. There are so many different, and I think people are now realising it more and more. So, as you spoke about the millennials and the younger generation, I feel as they grow up, they're now realising more and more that, it is important. But not just about food, it's important to have a whole well-being. Yeah. It's important to, make sure that you're just taking care of yourself, in all aspects. So I think some people will go as far as veganism, but I think people are now seeing, people that come into our shop, into the eatery, is that they often, a lot of them are oxitarian.
See there? Maybe made up. It's a real thing. Yes.
They are. And, they come in and they're drawn in because we do some lovely vegan cakes. And people don't even realise they're vegan. They can't believe they don't have any milk or eggs in them because the taste of them are so appealing, So they get drawn in by that, and then they look at the menu and they see things like plantain balls, coconut curry, rundown curry. They see all these things on there that they think, oh wow, pea fritters, for instance, which is another. Pea fritters, right? So pea fritters, without giving away too much of the ingredients, it's just basically made from green peas, right? But it's made like a fritter, like how you would do it, like how you would make it. So there's all these different things, and they look, and I think people are becoming more adventurous as well. People travel so far now, to go somewhere to eat.
Yeah,
food is an important part of our life. So. Yeah, I think veganism is something that, even if you're not going to the extreme, but definitely plant-based, and when I say the extreme, because when you used to say veganism before, people used to think you're some kind of cult. You're in some kind of cult. How can she do that? How can she not eat? But I think now, because it's much more represented, you walk down the aisles in the supermarket, you'll see a whole aisle of dairy-free, gluten-free, And there was one time when you used to walk down the aisle of the supermarket, you never used to see almond milk. Now, there's a whole
everywhere.
aisle.
Yeah,
filled,
so true.
So I think it's becoming much more represented, and because of that, it's becoming much more accepted.
Yeah, and I think it's beautiful that women like yourself are leading the way. You're really leading the way on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Definitely. And also, would you not say as well, because people are more focused on, they want to have a longer lifespan. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, because even, I'm going to go, into scriptures and everything else. But when you even think about, like, say, the beginning of, like, say, creation, everything was kind of plant-based. People ate off the land.
Exactly.
And people were living until 120 odd years. Well, not even 120, that was like the minimum, but they were living 900 and something odd years, and you're thinking, who could live that age? But that's what they documented, because obviously it's their diet, their lifestyle. Their well-being.
Also, illness prevention, because it's basic. I mean, I don't profess to be a scientist, but it's basic. Whatever you put in,
absolutely,
must have an impact.
Come on now.
Yes.
And manifest in some way. It just makes sense, right? It's the fuel that we put in. So, for example, if you have a car, I'm sure there's loads of people who've done this out there, by the way. I haven't. You have a car that's diesel, but, you end up putting in petrol. That's
never happened to me.
Car,
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Of course. It's never happened to me.
It happened to you.
No,
But you know what I'm saying? The same goes for the body, right?
Well, what you were just saying there is so true, because and also it's about the whole package. It's well-being. That's one thing that's a journey that even now I'm still going down and I'm still discovering. It's about, because don't we all just want peace?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Isn't that what we really are all striving for? Regardless of whatever you're about and whatever you're doing in life. And I think and that's one of the things that we're trying to do, what we're doing at the Guava Kitchen. I think it's that whole package. You want to have a whole well-being. So it's not just the food. So the Guava Kitchen is also about an experience. That's really what we're about. And it's about people coming in and having a space where they feel they can come and chill, first of all. Having a space where they can feel where the food is authentic, so they feel like the food that they're taking in is good. You're taking in something good into your temple.
Yes.
And above that as well, music. So you can come and you can listen to, it might not be appealing to you, but it's music that's going to make you feel relaxed.
So it's all of the senses, isn't it?
I
Like
love that,
it's what you're seeing, it's what you're tasting, you're hearing as well. So it's playing on all of that, and it goes towards, like you said, your holistic well-being. But I know that you just started last year. You've been going for less than a year, so I'm sure that you faced like some serious challenges, right? So tell us about a few of them.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie. You never know what you're stepping into until you're in. And the intention was never to actually open. Like I said, my vision was never, I always kind of left my vision to the Lord. I never really thought, oh, this is what I want. I want, an eatery with this. And I actually, like I said, we did the stall. And the reason why we started to look for premises was because I just couldn't take the weather.
Right, okay. Keep it real. I would have done the same thing too.
We went through a couple of seasons of winter, and I just said, you know what? I don't think I can do this outside. Right, I have to bring it in. So we started looking for smaller premises, and once it was totally the Lord that gave us the premise that we had, we have now. And I never intended to take such a large premises. It was always just going to be my own little coffee shop, in the corner somewhere, where I could just serve people little cakes and like vegan cakes and, do my little thing. But you know what? We saw this premises, and it was quite a large premises. And I prayed to the Lord, and I said this to you guys just before the show started, that I said to the Lord, take it away if it's not for me. You have put this in front of me, and it is something that me and my husband can do, but I don't want it. if it's going to be something that we can't manage, you know. And bit by bit, he just made things happen, and it just started to unfold. And you know, thank God it happened. But the challenges have been enormous. One of the key challenges is staffing, because you go through years of you being on the other side as an employee, and then all of a sudden you become an employer.
Yeah.
You know, and you realise the challenges that sets up. I've found out that it's not an employer's market; it's an employee's market, because you need good people in your business.
Yeah.
People you can trust.
You know, people you can trust.
Yeah.
You know, you need people that are passionate about your business,
That's
and no
right.
one's going to be more passionate.
Than you. Come on. You better just preach it.
You know, so you know it doesn't matter, and you know you're going to be always the first one there.
Yeah.
You know, and the last one to leave. You know, you're going to be the one working the hardest in this business. So you know, staffing is always going to be a challenge, and it has been a challenge. And all I can recommend to any of your viewers that are listening in,
Tell them out there.
all I can say to you is you just have to set yourself up to know. Because when I first went into the business, that's one thing that other people that were in business, they all said the same thing to me. Staffing is going to be your challenge. So as long as you know that, you set yourself up and don't let it get to you. You know, don't make it, you know, because things are going to come, you know, you're going to get 7 o'clock in the morning before your doors open. 3 members of staff are not going to turn up, and it's just going to be you on your own there doing the John Cleese. It's what I call the John Cleese, where you're upstairs doing chefing, down upstairs doing front of house. You know, you do, and you have to just take it on board and just know these are the challenges, and don't. You know, you can't give up. You've got to keep going. That's the only thing I could say.
Keep on going.
It's just keep on going.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's brilliant advice. And I think even with what you're sharing there in terms of giving the advice is you will, because you keep on going, you're not giving up.
No.
God will place those right people to you, because your
Definitely.
energy is now being let off, and then before you know it, you're going to attract the right person.
Definitely. I mean, we've been in business now just over 7 months, and I have to say that we've now got such an amazing team of people.
Anyone you want to big up?
I want to big up Renata. I big you up. I want to big up Chasey, who's our main chef. And also, you know, I just want, and also Michael and Karina, who's just become my comms lady.
And you got big.
Wow,
Yeah,
you've got a big team,
you know,
man.
Yeah, so Karina's just become our comms. So and you know, like I said, it's very, very, very difficult to find people that are passionate about your business. And also, I've got to big up my lovely little Nebby, because he's our KP, right? And he is amazing.
What's KP?
He's a kitchen porter.
Okay.
Right, but he keeps everything clean and makes sure, you know, and he's our little brain boy, you know, when anything's out of place, he comes and tells us, you know. So all these people, though, didn't just come, you know. Obviously, you know, over 7 months and that, you know, we've just kind of come together. And like I said, it's so hard to find people who are just as passionate as you are, and they want to see the business. And it's just care, to be honest, you know, even if they've not got this 100% over passionate about it like you have, but they care.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to find staff that care.
Yeah.
You know. So that's one aspect of the business that's been very challenging. The other aspect of the business, believe it or not, that was very challenging for me were Google reviews.
I've heard about this.
You know, so this is an aspect of the business that when you're on your little store and you're doing your little thing, you know, down in Brick Lane and that, you get your little chit chats with customers and everything, and they come up. You don't get reviews, and then you go into an establishment and you get a premises. Now, listen, I absolutely think it's important to have Google reviews. I think But, it was like, I just did not know. It just wasn't something that I thought about, that my business is going to be on, people are going to talk about it. And, I have to say that's another thing. It's just like when earlier as well, we were talking about, when you're an entertainer or you do something in the public eye, you have to take criticism.
Yeah.
And you have to know how to take those criticisms. And I think that's something that you need to kind of just learn. And you need to kind of that's a training within itself.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's something that you've just got to be quite hardened to, And
but especially if you want to grow as well, right?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And you've got to be willing to take it and just take it constructively. I'm not saying every criticism you must take on board, because sometimes you have to think about, where's it coming from? Is it coming from a rightful place that's going to benefit me?
Yeah.
But if it's something that, potentially I need to take heed to what this has been said, that I can improve myself, then that's totally different. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes.
No, constructive reviews are always, and I actually sit down and I respond to all our reviews, right, personally.
Oh wow, that's big.
Yeah, no, I do, because I want to make sure that I'm connecting with our customers and they can see that we care. And I want to hear what they've got to say, and I want to be able to, have a conversation with them as well. The Guava Kitchen is like I said, it's about an experience. I really want people to come in and to enjoy that experience. And if they're not enjoying that experience, I want to know why. I want to make sure that I can change that, and make sure that I can build on that.
Where can they find you?
Right, so we're at 16 London Road, in Forest Hill, in a beautiful conservation area in Forest Hill. You can also find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram at theguavakitchen.com. Our website as well, www.theguavakitchen.com. We've recently started Guava Lates, right, which I'm really excited about as well, where we're starting to have different types of events. Because as I said, before I used to do the events.
When's the next one?
The next one's going to be in Easter. We were going to have our gospel event. I'm not sure when this actual program is going to be aired, but we're also having a Mother's Day event as well on the 22nd. So we have lots of events. The events in the future are going to be things like spoken word events as well. For Valentine's, we had Paulette Tarja come down. Wow. That was a really nice evening. It's some exciting things that we're having, and I'm sure your viewers, get locked on.
I feel like I need to go there after the show, to be quite honest, because one's hungry. What I'm thinking about is a curry, the rundown. Yeah, I'm just keeping it real. I'm just craving. But yeah.
Do you know, I tell you, the Guava Kitchen, I feel, is always, I wanted to create a space that was a space that I used to always gravitate to find. I've always loved just socialising and going out, but I've always liked food as well, and I love music, So I've always wanted to find a place where you can just go and chill, It's like it's not a place where you have to dress up. It's not a place, even if you want to just go there to work, that's cool. So that's the kind of space that I was creating with the Guava Kitchen. I kind of thought of, in the days when I was working, where did I want to go? Where did I want to go and just have something healthy to eat and somewhere where I could listen to good music and stuff. And that's what congratulations.
Well done. Yeah, well done. We salute you.
Thank you so much.
And we're looking forward to coming down for some
food.
Definitely.
So guys, listen, you heard it here on the Ordinary Woman Chat Show. Jenny Campbell of Guava Kitchen in Forest Hill. All the information is there for you. Make sure you get yourselves on down there for that experience. Kaz and I will be going soon, right, Kaz?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I'll go there after the show.
So listen, thank you for watching once again. And until next time, make sure you like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and keep on following us here at the Ordinary Woman Chat Show. Thank you very much, guys.